There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit.
In tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street-smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. Welcome, everybody. This is The Psychic and the Doc. I am Mark Anthony, JD, Psychic Explorer. I am here with my fascinating, amazing, and tantalizing co-host, the one and only Dr. Pat Baccili. How you doing tonight, Dr. Pat?
I'm doing really good. I'm just going to make an adjustment, get my mic close so that you can hear me and get everything rolling. This is a live call-in show, and Mark's going to tell you about what we're talking about, why we're talking about it. But for those of you out there, live call-in, 1-800-930-2819. Give us a call. Tell us the topic is so cool. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The topic is all's good in the neighborhood.
All's good in the hood.
All's good in the hood. And Dr. Pat and I were talking about this show, and we somehow or other we got on the topic of Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
And I recently saw the movie where Tom Hanks plays Mr. Rogers, and as usual, Tom Hanks like knocked the ball way out of the park. But it's funny because I was at the gym and I was talking to my personal trainer and a couple of the other trainers, and I mentioned the theme for the show, and they all said, well, we liked Dr. Rogers when we were kids, and these are these big bruiser guys, and I said, why? And one of them said, it felt like a safe place.
Yeah.
And so when Dr. Pat and I were talking about a theme for this show, all's good in the neighborhood, because what did Mr. Rogers make everyone feel? Safe, welcome, at home.
Yeah.
And he made us like all's good in the neighborhood. And a neighborhood in the traditional sense is a place where that's how you feel and people look out for each other. And that's what the Psychic and the Doc is. This is a safe space. And that's why this is a call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. And for the folks on Facebook, they're always saying, I want a reading. Well, you have to call in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yes. I'm a psychic, but I don't know that.
Right. Until we have a new interface as we move into 2024, and really hoping to have this built out in the first call. First of all, we are one of the few live streaming videos scheduled, announced. The show is on the same time every week. You can count on it, except I don't know when we're not on. No, but generally, think about us as your favorite TV show. And so this took a lot to get here. But one of the cool things that we're very much a fan of is communicating more with our audience. And we're going to look at some new technology to do that for all the social media people. Now, can you still call in? Well, it's going to be a little hard. Why? Because this isn't just any call-in show. So I want to talk about it. I want to just make an announcement up front. We're expecting a lot of people. We already have Carly from Idaho, Denise from Florida. Carly from Idaho, I almost went and picked up a car in Idaho. But what I want to say is this. I did. I gave up the orange car, by the way. I took the black car.
You took the black car.
I took the black one. I wasn't going to drive to Idaho to get the orange one.
Are you doing Halloween themed cars, orange and black?
I have had an orange car for like 6 years. It was so hard for me to let go of it, but I am going to do a whole bunch of decals on my new car because I live in the Pacific Northwest. It is gray a lot. But here's what I want to say to our callers. I want to tell you in advance, if Emily and Jonathan, and hi, Jonathan, thank you. If they haven't told you this, You can turn off your speakers because you'll hear the show right through the phone. And please, if you're on a cell phone, sometimes your speaker on the cell phone works, sometimes it doesn't. We need to have a clear signal because Mark wants to tap into all of you.
Yeah.
And in order for Mark to tap into all of you, we can't have any noise in the channel, right? Literally. Was that like no pun intended?
That's exactly the truth, Dr. Pat. What people need to realize is when I'm communicating with spirits, it's all about frequency, just like this show is all about frequency. And so the clearer the connection between the caller and myself, the clearer the connection with the other side. So if people call up and they got their speakers on in the background and they're talking into a cell phone and the dog's barking and the kids are screaming and all this, it's like, I realize, that's life, but we're talking to the afterlife. So we need clear, non-distorted connection. Yeah. And what's really unique about the psychic and the doc is certainly I use my ability to connect with your loved ones in spirit, but then you have an advantage nobody else has. You have Dr. Pat, who will, and what's really great about Dr. Pat, she's the objective third-party observer. And then, because people say, well, I don't understand that. And Dr. Pat will say, well, think of it this way. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. And so the beauty of this show is not only do you get the messages from the other side, but you have an expert in metaphorical interpretation, because a lot of deciphering, interpreting messages transmitted from the other side is very similar to dream interpretation.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very Jungian, I guess, that way. It's like, what does this symbol mean to you? What does this? And it's funny, Dr. Pat, you said you didn't realize that, but you do it. You know what I mean? You do it naturally.
That's true, but I didn't realize.
Yeah, you'll say to be like, I'll say, well, I'm getting a horse, and you'll say to somebody, well, what does a horse mean to you? Does it have a symbol of freedom or is it whatever? And then someone will start crying and say, I had a pony when I was a kid,
right.
And it helps people make the connection. So that is what is totally unique about this show. And, we both have dedicated our lives to helping people.
Yeah.
And let's face it, we help people in a very unusual way. But that's why all's good in our neighborhood, and we're welcoming you to be our neighbor. Yeah. So
it's so good, Mark. You're so good. I mean, I love this. And part of this is I do get to share the stage with the most amazing Mark Anthony. And, you don't really hear a lot about him, but, as the weeks come on, you're going to hear a lot about him. I mean, besides being a best-selling author, all of you know him. You know him. You've worked with him. You understand what he could do. But I want to say, when we get to the phone tonight, you have something extraordinary going to happen. And what I mean by this, whether it's Carly, Denise, Melissa, all of you, there's something that Mark and I have started to do, which we didn't plan to do, but it's connecting. And I don't understand it. And I'm just going to say this one last thing before we go to the phones. Do you remember the caller we had where you said something about a nickel? Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how you explain this in your world. I showed up on the show tonight and I heard nickel, talk about the nickel. Now, this nickel, I honestly don't remember, I don't remember what you said. I remember my interpretation of the nickel. But there's something extraordinary for me to show up on a show like this. And I usually show up and my slate is clear. I clear, but I have to tell you, nickel, it showed up. And I just need to mention it, because I don't know what that means, but whoever that was that you brought through is wanting me to bring up the nickel again. And I'm just going to let it go right now, because that spirit was not for me. But this is kind of an unusual thing. And I've noticed this start to happen a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to work with you so you can help me do some clearing things so I don't get latched onto about it. But whoever that was that got that message, if you're listening, Here's what I know about psychology, and then we'll go to the phones. I don't think that I got that message because it's meant for me. That message was meant for you. I don't remember who you are, but I will tell you this. Whatever we told you about that or guided you to do, my sense is you ain't doing it. And whoever this is let me bring that through again. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about it. I don't know how to interpret that, Mark. I don't know.
Well,
I
it's
don't know.
entirely possible nickel could mean something completely different in a
Could
new
be.
context for
Yeah.
somebody else. Because nickel could be the metal, it could be the number 5, it could be a name like Nick or Nicholas. So I guess we're just going to have to find out.
It could be the rock band, Nickelback, I think they're called. Let's go to the phones. If we, Emily, correct me if I got that band wrong. Let's go to the phones if we could.
Okay, we're going to go to Carly from Idaho. Carly, you
Great,
are
thank you.
live. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Carly. Welcome to the
Hi.
show. Hey, how are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
Thank you. Are you on a speakerphone or headset or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's better. Give us your big voice. I'm going to connect you with Mark. I'm assuming you're calling in to have a connection tonight, right?
Yes, ma'am. I was just calling to see if there's anyone that has any messages for me.
I love
All
that
right.
I love that you called me ma'am. That's so cool.
Carly, that's really nice. It's I got to say something when we get to the readings. It's really nice when people are polite and show etiquette. I remember when I was practicing law, I'd get clients come in and they'd be calling me dude, and I'd say like, you don't call me dude. I am, sir or, Mr. Anthony. And I remember this one guy, wasn't one of my clients because I was instructing my clients, how to show proper decorum. But he was in front of this one judge who wasn't the nicest guy in the world. And he kept referring to the judge as dude. He's like, well, dude. And I could see it was, and I knew this judge was getting irritated. And finally, the judge goes, 30 days county jail. He goes, what? And the judge goes, bummer, dude. So.
Well, what I want to say, Carly, to you is I grew up with a mom that was from the Deep South, my role model, and I'll talk about her on another show. But she taught all of us girls, when we are in front of people, especially adults, that is a term that I use, ma'am. And so you just gave me a reminder of my mom, and I wanted to thank you for that. Let me turn you over to Mark.
Carly, I have an older female coming through. In other words, when she passed, she was an older woman. And what I'm getting with her is I think she may be on the grandmother level, because when I say that someone's on your level, that's your generation, the level above you would be, parent, aunt, uncle, but I'm getting maybe 2 clicks up. And what I'm getting about this woman, she was kind of very casual in her appearance and demeanor. And by casual, I don't mean sloppy. She was just a very easy going, very approachable person. She keeps showing me her feet, and I'm seeing swollen ankles, which is indicating prior to passing there was edema, fluid buildup, and she's wearing these like slippers, like these terry cloth type of slippers. So that indicates to me that her passing was not a quick event. It took some time, and she's pointing to her throat. I'm getting a burning sensation in her throat. Now, when I get a burning sensation, sometimes that means cancer, but there could have been something else going on in her throat. Hold on, let me work with her a bit more. Okay, a lot of nausea going on. So it's possible she could have been either intubated or possibly on a feeding tube as well. Yeah, this lady was very, very ill. Because I'm getting a lot of intravenous, a lot of tubes in and out of her prior to passing. And she was explaining to me, is this making sense to you, Carly?
Yeah, so it was my mom. So she was intubated. So today is actually her birthday, and the last Thursday was the day that she passed. And not like a week ago, but like 18 years ago.
Hold on.
She was on a breathing tube.
Oh, okay. So all right. Is your mother also a grandmother? In other words, do you have kids, or did she have any
Yes.
grandkids through any? Okay. See, remember I was
Mhm.
getting the grandmother thing. So she's a mother and a grandmother.
Yes.
Okay. And she is delighted that you're doing this. Okay, delighted that you're
And
doing this. And she's talking to you, and she keeps focusing on your upper arm. Did you just get a flu shot or some type of vaccination, or are you thinking about it? Because I feel like someone's giving me a shot, and it's not her. She's focusing on you. What's going on with you and flu shot? And look, I'm not pushing flu shots or vaccines. I'm just telling you what the spirit is communicating to me. Does any of that make sense to you in any way?
not the shot. Mm-mm.
Okay. Are you considering getting a flu shot or some type of vaccine?
Mm-mm, no.
Well, mom's transmitting that, so you're going to have to make that decision. She's nudging me to tell you to go do it. So I'm just the messenger.
Hmm.
And is there someone, and be careful about going, no, no, no. Normally in my private readings, I give 15-minute pre-explanation. And when people no, no, no things, and I'm not scolding, I'm explaining, you're creating a negative energy barrier, like you're slamming the door in her face and she'll back off. The issue here is vaccinations. Maybe she's letting you know she understands that you're not going to get vaccinations, or maybe she's urging you to get them. So the issue is vaccination. Who's Doris? Doris. I keep hearing a Dory
that
or
was Aunt
go ahead.
Aunt Doris. She passed away like quite a while ago. She's on
Okay,
my
so
dad's side.
yeah, well, your mom is with your Aunt Doris, okay? And Doris is interesting. Was it your mom or was it Aunt Doris that had dentures or bridge work? Because somebody's taking their teeth out and going click, click, click like this. She's being funny about it.
That was Aunt Doris.
Okay. Okay. I'm laughing because I think Doris, if you threw a party, you always invited Aunt Doris, okay, because she seemed like she could be a whole lot of fun. And speaking of parties, and I know you said that today was your mom's birthday. This is one of the reasons
Mhm.
your mom wanted to come through for you. And she said, it's interesting. She said, "Death be not proud." And I remember that was the name of a book or something. Death be not proud. What she's telling you is she doesn't want you looking at the anniversary of her birthday, as her birthday as a sad time. Okay, don't be proud, don't be stoked. She goes, celebrate it, celebrate it. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Pat in a minute, but
Yeah.
man, your mom is making me
Yeah.
taste the most bodacious chocolate cake. It's like chocolate cake with chocolate mousse filling. I mean, I like chocolate, but this is like chocoholics heaven. What is up with the major chocolate, the chocolate mousse, the gooey chocolate frosting? I mean, like Chocorama. All right. What's up with the chocolate, Carly?
I don't know. She wasn't really that big of a sweet fan, so
All right,
maybe.
hold on,
that,
hold on,
like,
hold on. When something comes through from the spirit, it isn't always about the spirit. It could be about you or somebody else close to you. So I'm getting
Oh,
the
okay.
major chocolate. How does that make sense to you, Carly?
Probably because I like chocolate. Maybe that's why. But not.
I'd say there's
I
no
don't know.
maybe about it. That's a definite. That's a verifiable fact following the message. And the message from your mother is she doesn't want you looking at her birthday as a sad time, but instead as a happy time. In other words, throw a party, be happy. And then when a spirit gives that message and then follows up with the objectively verifiable fact that you really like chocolate, and she is making me taste like 4 different kinds of chocolate, and they're all really good. And look, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And Dr. Pat and I don't prescribe or diagnose, but tonight after the show, you have my permission to indulge in all the chocolate you want. All right, Dr. Pat.
Oh my God. What do you think my mom's name is? Doris.
Your mom?
This is too weird. I have a question for you, Carly. It's not about the vaccine, but I got to ask you a different question. Are you thinking of
Okay.
getting a tattoo?
Actually, so my daughter and I actually have an appointment next month to get a tattoo on
Where?
our arm
Where?
and on my upper arm. So maybe that's what the shot.
Maybe it's that
thinking is.
Dr.
Maybe that's
Patton.
what
Dr. Pat
Bingo.
knocks the cosmic baseball out of the cosmic park.
Yeah. So,
That's what I
okay.
was thinking in my head. Kind
Yeah,
of
no,
like,
no,
maybe
no.
not.
So mom is telling you, mom knows you were thinking, where else were you thinking of putting that tattoo? Tell me where you were going to go.
My upper arm.
Okay. So Mark was telling you upper arm, almost above your bicep, like the deltoid, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So your daughter and both of y'all are going to go get that, right?
Yeah.
Are okay. Are you getting the same time? I'm sorry. Do you mind if I indulge a minute, Mark?
Are there wings involved? Are there wings
Yeah.
involved?
Are you getting the same tattoo?
No, different ones. But
All right.
mine
Are
is
there?
kind of like. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yours is kind of like.
Mine is kind of like a end of life tattoo. Like it has like the stairway and like the eyeball and like an hourglass. You know what I mean? So
I
like
do know what you mean.
wings would not be far off.
No, they wouldn't. But what you're talking, so I got to ask one last question. Who designed the tattoo?
Me.
Great. I'm going to say this, and I don't know if this is going to be related to you or not. There's something about your tattoo that's going to require a really good tattoo artist. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Because of that design, and this ties to what you're saying, Mark, you may want to add some additional art to it. I don't know what that would be, but you're going to need fine needle work to get the hourglass proper. Do you know fine needle work? I used to design tattoos, so that's why I'm able to talk about this. But you're going to need fine needle work. My message to you, I love that you're going to do it. I mean, honestly, I'm allergic to the ink, or else my whole body be covered. You know, if I wasn't allergic to this stuff, I would have like everywhere. That's got to be a path. But I'm just trying to tell you, don't compromise on your tattoo. Do you understand? If you bring your artwork to your tattoo artist, make sure that when they do the stencil on it, that you tell your tattoo artist exactly what you want and how you want it, and don't compromise on it. And as the artist is doing your tattoo, check it often. You got me?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my final message to you. It's the kind of tattoo that is very spiritual, high vibration, but it requires great artwork. It requires fine line work. You know, an hourglass has to be precise. Do you want the sand coming in and out? I could spend the whole show, but I won't. I'm going to leave you with this now, okay? But that's it. Mom or whoever that would is telling you, get that poking in your arm, girl. Okay?
Thank you.
Don't be putting it on your head or
Thank
your
you.
neck or anything. Just get it poked in your arm.
And consider a
Thank you.
vaccine.
And still consider the vaccine.
Consider
Okay.
the vaccine.
Thank you so much. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to go to Denise. We're going to go to Melissa, more with the psychic and the doc. We'll be right back. Everybody, welcome back to the psychic and the doc. I want to say two things, but before we do, Mark, please get everybody caught up here. Get everybody up to date on what you're doing, when you're doing it, how to connect with you, all of the above.
Well, I got a lot of things going on, so I'm going to invite everyone to go to my website, afterlifefrequency.com, just like my latest book, The Afterlife Frequency. And I've got a new article coming out in the October edition of Best Holistic Life magazine. And of course, if you go to my website and go to the calendar of events, the title of the October article is The Great Ghost Hunt at the Haunted Stanley Hotel. And it's an awesome story. And Rocky is one of our producers and my manager. She and I were part of a paranormal investigation at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, which is supposed to be one of the most haunted locations in the United States.
Wow.
And that's where they filmed The Shining.
The Shining?
The Shining, yeah.
Whoa.
And
Retro.
and what's funny about the Stanley is room 417 is supposed to be a vortex, and that's the epicenter of a really spooky activity. Well, Rocky and I had room 411, so being good Catholics, we're burning white candles, and all this. And anyway, it's a fun story, and it's a 100% true story.
Beautiful.
And you can find out about all that. Plus, I'll be in Houston in a couple weeks at Body, Mind, and Soul, and I'll be on the CBS KHOU morning show, Great Day Houston. You can find out about all of that on bestholistic.com, but go to my website, afterlifefrequency.com. So, Dr. Pat, what do you say we go to the callers?
Yes, but before we do, if you're going to go down to Houston, you better say hi to Beyonce for me, okay? Just get it over there. And for those of you out there, you want to find more about us, go to transformationtalkradio.com or the Transformation Network. But we are rolling. Let's go, Emily.
Okay, we're going to go to Denise from Florida. Denise, welcome to the Psychic and the Doc.
Hi, Denise. Are you staying dry?
Am I staying dry? Today it was sunny out.
Okay,
Today's the
so
first
then
day, I think in 2 months.
I think you're right. I just came back from Seattle. I'm back in Jersey again. And I'm like, what the heck is going on the East Coast with the rain? My God. Anyway.
Every single day.
Every
single
day.
And I just had I was having every day, yes. And it's not just a little, strinkle here.
No.
It's thunder, lightning, and pouring down rain. Today it didn't rain. I mean, probably tonight, the clouds are out there. But I mean, today was beautiful. They managed to finish my fence.
Very good. Now, look, I want to connect you with Mark. How can we help you tonight?
Okay. I'm just wondering if anybody up there can tell me what I need to either stop eating or eat to get rid of this stomach problem I have.
Oh, boy, are we ready to help you? I'm going to turn that one over to Mark. Let's get rolling with that.
Now, Denise, you have to keep in mind that spirit communication is not a visit to Santa at Macy's on 34th Street, okay? Because a lot of times if you go into a reading with an agenda, you're putting the I want, and that can create a barriers. But let's see if spirits, you have anyone that wants to give you a message. I'm getting a male energy coming through. Feels like he could be on your generational level, could be on the one above it. The funny thing about this guy, he showed me his hair and it's all slicked back. And I am smelling, I don't even know if they still make this stuff, but I'm smelling Brill cream.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Dr. Pat,
my God.
I'm smelling Brill cream, okay? So this guy definitely used Brill cream back in the day. And he was a smoker because he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's got the Brill cream. And I'll tell you, it looks like when he was probably a teen or in his young 20s, probably was in the late 50s, early 1960s, because that's, he has that look like he's stepping out of that time frame. But he was quite a bit older when he passed. And what I'm getting with him is this massive pain in my head. Now, that could be a stroke. That could be some other issue with high blood pressure. But he had a lot of problems too, a lot of issues in the stomach and in the lower GI tract, colon area. He may have had either colorectal cancer or prostate cancer, because I'm getting a burning sensation that he's talking about in that area. Do any of these factors resonate with you? And does this make sense to you?
Part of it, I thought it was my dad, because my dad had a great head of hair, and Brill cream would be one of the things he would use for it. And the headaches would have been brain cancer.
The headache.
But I don't remember. I don't know if he had.
Hold on.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't know
go
if
with
he had
that.
it anywhere else.
Hold on. That's your dad. Now, When he's
Right.
talking about the burning sensations, if he had the brain cancer, that would be that. Everything else matches there. Now, when he was going into the lower GI tract and colon issues, he could be talking about you. Now, I don't want you jumping to the conclusion that you have stomach or colorectal cancer, and obviously you don't have prostate cancer, but it's when I get issues in that area. So you did say that you're having digestion problems. Is it just in your stomach, or is it also in your lower GI tract?
No, just in my stomach, like GERD.
Okay. He wants me to tell you that you need to go to a gastroenterologist. Once again, he's not saying, and I'm not saying that there's a cancer issue, but this is more than just I have an upset stomach. But what I'm getting is it looks like some relatively minor changes, possibly a prescription is going to take care of this. But this is not an over-the-counter thing. So you need to make an appointment with a gastroenterologist, GI tract doctor. Start with your general practitioner, because you can't just call up a GI tract doctor and make an appointment. You got to get the referral. So go to your general practitioner, tell them about the problem, because part of this is you're getting a lot of acid from your stomach splashing up into your esophagus, because with what you're eating, you're giving your body's mixed signals. Some of the foods you're eating are triggering the acidic response and keeping the esophageal sphincter, which is the valve on the top of your stomach, open, and then other ones are diametrically opposed to that. So basically, you need to get with a doctor and on an eating plan that's going to start settling your stomach. Now, pineapple, pineapple, pineapple. Hold on. Do you love or hate pineapple?
Oh, I love pineapple.
Okay. I'm getting and no pun intended, a yellow cautionary sign on the pineapple. Generally, pineapple is a healing food because it's a natural anti-inflammatory. But in this context, the pineapple, because of its high acid and sugar content, feels like this is one of the things, at least for the time being, you need to stay away from. So that's the message he wants you to know. Dr. Pat, do you have anything?
Yeah. Yes, I do. For whatever reason, I need to just share this with you. But let me ask you a quick question before I do. How long have you had this stomach thing?
On and off for years. And,
Gotcha.
I live on antacids.
Okay. So
I live on them.
I'm going to tell you, I don't do this that often because I just don't. But I work with a woman. Her name is Mary Jane Mack. And as a matter of fact, I'm hoping to have her on this show. She is a medical intuitive. She had a show with us for like 14 years. She is my go-to, Linda's go-to, my best friend, Linda. And when Linda was 12 hours away from passing away on May 9th, it was Mary Jane that helped. She is not a doctor, but she works with very specific, what she calls nutrition. And that GERD thing with the esophagus thing, that was the major issue for Linda. She is the woman that I go to. Her name is Mary Jane Mack. Her website is Mary Jane Mack. I don't know what she'll tell you. I don't know why I'm telling M-A-C-K, like Jimmy Mack, Jimmy. Oh,
okay,
Jimmy
M-A-C-K.
Mack,
okay.
when are you coming back? Okay. Make a choice whether you want. And when you call there, Nancy will probably, you're going to go to our website. Nancy will answer, say, Dr. Pat asked me to call, and start to explore what she might be able to do for you. You don't have to use her, but I don't know why I'm called to tell you about her, because she stopped that GERD stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she will tell you whether it's that or something else. I don't even explain what she does, but I can't explain what Mark does either. Okay, you got that?
If I can, this is making more sense, especially when you said that you live on antacids. Remember I said Your dad's
Yeah.
saying what you're eating is giving conflicting. So the antacids, even though they're a quick fix, are actually creating your body's struggling to overcome it.
Yeah.
So you're actually hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You should not be living on antacids. You need Mary Jane Mack and or a gastroenterologist.
Or both.
Or both, because
Or both.
Yes.
I'm not telling you one or the other.
yeah, but you cannot keep over-the-counter treatment on this. And I'm really glad that you called in because you need to do something about this yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You got that?
Okay. I got
All right.
that, and it's Mary Jane Mack, M-A-C-K.
Yeah. The website is Mary Jane, Jane Mac.com. Our phone
Okay.
number is right
Thank you
there.
so much.
And just when you call, leave a message to Nancy and just say, Dr. Pat asked me to call to check this out because I got the GERD.
Okay.
All right. Thank
I've
you.
got the GERD.
Thanks for calling in. All
Thank
right.
you for calling in. Thank you. Oh my gosh, we have so much fun. Who do we have next here, Emily?
We have Melissa from Michigan. Melissa, you are live. Welcome to the Psychic and the Doc.
Hey, Melissa.
Whoa!
Yes. Whoa, look, you made me knock
Hi,
my
that was-
computer. Hey, how are you?
Oh my. Okay, I have my phone and I turned the speaker off and I can barely hear you. So let me get it. I hate
Oh,
putting
don't
my
turn-
phone next to my ear,
no.
but I'm gonna.
Listen
Okay.
to what I'm telling you. Turn your speaker back on and let me hear you.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Is it on?
All right. Yeah,
All right,
it's
is your-
on. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you pretty
Yeah,
good.
that works.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I want to tell you is when
Hello?
you're on the speaker, and I know you're going to get excited from calling in because I'm excited already for you. All I'm asking you to do is probably put the phone down on something and don't move it around.
Okay.
Yeah, don't put it on like a dog or a
I'm
cat
gonna-
or anything. Like, right. just put
No,
on-
no.
Okay.
I wish it was a
how
dog
can-
or a cat to put it on. So-
All right.
Okay,
I'm
can you
gonna.
hear me now?
I can hear you. Just talk naturally. You don't have to be close to the speaker. Just relax. Cool.
All right.
How can
Cool.
we help you?
Well, I was hoping that I could maybe connect with someone in spirit, and I think I'll just leave it at that right now, and then then you can help me afterwards. How's that?
Do it, Mark.
Okay, I got a male energy coming through. Now, this is an odd thing he's leading off with. So I'm not sure what generation is, either your generation or the one above it. I'm not sure yet. But he is making me taste a cookie. And it's not just any cookie. It is a cookie. It's like this flat cookie with like a prune filling. And it's real flat. I remember these when I was a kid, and but is
Yeah.
there anything about like a prune Danish or a cookie with some type of prune filling that makes sense? And don't worry about how it applies to the spirit, how it would apply to you in any ways. Now, of course, prunes are good for digestive issues, and we get all that. They're also very rich in iron. But is there anything about prunes or prune cookies or prune Danish that would make sense to you in any way?
Okay. Yes, I think so. Yes, actually, a couple of ways. I could probably use some prunes, and I think it makes me think of my dad because I remember how much. Well, those were figs, but he did like prunes. So
Yeah, figs and prunes. Okay, the way I get them, they're very, very similar because they're kind of gooey, and they're both acquired taste. Oh, Rocky tested fig Newtons.
Fig
All right,
Newtons.
fig Newtons. Do you like fig Newtons?
yeah, that's what I was thinking of my dad because he loved fig Newtons.
Fig Newtons. Okay, yeah, I remember these. They were real flat. They had like this brownish color. like a golden color,
Yep,
and they had this
filling
prune
inside.
filling to it. And then there's fig Newtons, which are similar. Okay, so I guess we got your dad here, and he's talking about, interesting, your sinuses. Are you getting any postnasal drip or issues with allergies, mold, mildew? He is focusing very, very heavily on your sinuses and your reaction to ambient things around you. So this could mean that maybe you have a lot of allergies, or maybe you're exposed to some mold, mildew, or just the pollen. But I am getting a very strong message about that. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, because, yep, I have been exposed to mold and mildew, and I've been having a really hard time. I'm definitely having the postnasal drip, but I've been noticing other symptoms coming out of that. So that's very interesting.
Have you, and here's why I'm asking you this. It's interesting tonight, all of our spirits are referring people to the doctor. You need to get into an ENT. See, it'd be too easy to say, oh, just get a neti pot or some saline spray. This is beyond that, okay? And you got something going on in your sinuses, and it feels like it's in the upper sinuses and back a ways. And what he's showing me would suggest the possibility that there's like a bacterial colony has set up shop there, and just hitting it with saline spray or a neti pot isn't necessarily going to get rid of it. Now, the interpretation of this, I may be off, but I'm getting ENT, ear, nose, throat. I'm getting this. I'm getting and the ambient thing going on, because it's more than just it's the mold, mildew, fungus. And the thing is, if you get on top of this now, you can take care of it. All right. Then he is shifting tracks real quick, and he's giving me a whole bunch of strawberries. And strawberries can mean either you or he loved or hated strawberries, but strawberries are also one of my triggers for the month of February, because I associate chocolate-covered strawberries with Valentine's Day. So what this could mean is a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to you, your dad, or somebody close to either of you within the month of February. Births, deaths, anniversaries, events, Valentine's Day, or the number 14, or strawberries. All right, anything there?
Yeah, my birthday is in February on the 9th, and my mom passed away on the 10th of February. So that's like a big thing for me.
That's a huge thing, your birthday and your mom passing. And so that's the verifiable fact following the message. And if you've listened to the show,
And the 14th, my mom's funeral was on the 14th. My mom's funeral was on Valentine's Day. Whoa, I'm getting... Woo.
Okay. So we're going to get your mom in just a second. A verifiable fact following a message: when a spirit gives me a message of an explanatory advisory nature, your dad saying get her into an ENT ASAP. There's a bacterial infection or something festering in there due to mold and mildew and fungus exposure. And then the spirit follows it up with an objectively verifiable fact, which is February. We got 3 major events. And I even targeted Valentine's Day, which, unfortunately was the day that your mother's funeral service was held. And your mother is coming forward. Interesting. I'm getting this, I get like a robust woman, then all of a sudden the sense of weakness, physical weakness, going through with her, and a collapsing sensation. Did she have some type of convulsion or seizure prior to passing? Something that was affecting her mobility? That's what it feels like. I just feel like it's hitting me like a sledgehammer.
Wow. My mom was very robust, but man, I'm making me think about my son now with the seizure. So sorry. I'm trying to.
That's all right. We'll get to him in a minute. Let's focus on your mom.
Okay. Well, she went in the hot. I can see the collapsing thing because.
Okay. All right.
She had a heart condition, and what would happen is her lungs would fill up with fluid, and then she would just leave the world. She'd pass out, right? And then I'd have to. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And that,
All
and
right.
you're saying, like, and then she was supposed to have, never mind, I'll quit talking, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because I need to turn you over to Dr. Pat in a second, but I know that you mentioned about your son with the seizures.
Mm-hmm.
He's on some type of medication for them. That's what they're telling me. And if he's not on a medication, he needs to be, but I get the sense he may be on a medication, but he needs a reevaluation. They may need to adjust the dosage or switch him to something else.
Okay, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. My son's on the other side too. So
Hold on. Hold on,
like
hold on,
that-
hold on,
yeah.
hold on. Was he on a medication or was his
Yeah.
passing? Because I'm getting a medication and an adjustment and a change. Did he switch any type of medications prior to passing? Or was there drugs involved in his passing, legal or otherwise? The reason is it felt like that I'm getting, hold on. I'm getting a medication and then a switching or a change, or he needed to have the change and it didn't happen. Now you can explain.
Okay. So now you're clicking. I'm thinking because prior to his passing, he was on a medication and they made an adjustment in the dosage. And when he passed, he had like a breakthrough seizure, and it went into like status. And anyway, that was the cause of his death. And for me, I felt like, he needed to like that, like the dose, like they lowered the dosage, and that he needed to, that shouldn't have happened, or that it should have been, So I'm getting that. I'm listening to you thinking you're kind of validating the thoughts that I was having around all of that, and I wasn't being heard. So.
Yeah, he said, well, as usual, Mom, you were right. And he just handed you a piece of coquina. Now, I know that you're calling, I think, from Michigan. Did you guys, have you ever collected like a piece of coquina stone from the ocean? He's handing you a piece of coquina.
I'm not sure what that is, but
it's a piece of coral. Coral.
Oh, coral. Okay. No, but we used to collect anything on the beach, lots of things, and he was an expert. In fact, I just got a sign from him just recently. I decided to go back to the beach where we used to always collect things, and he was a master of beach glass. He always found the beach glass. I could never find any, and I was sitting there, and I said, Ben, I know I never could find a beach glass, so I'm not going to find any today. And all of a sudden, I just had this urge to dig my hand down in the sand, and I came up with a perfectly shaped heart out of the glass, the beach glass, sea glass.
Ooh.
And I knew it was from him instantly, so I think maybe he's trying to make reference to that.
It's interesting because he's talking about coquina. But look, if he's handing you coquina, but you found a piece of beach glass and you're on the beach, let's go with that. All right, Dr. Pat. Yeah. This is a job for Dr. Pat.
I'm going to go real quick. What was the color of the glass?
It was white. It was like frosty white glass. It just felt real spiritual and loving to me.
Okay. So coral comes in many colors, and one of the colors it does come in is white when it's brought up.
Yeah.
I got to talk to you about the mold, and I'm going to go quick. How long ago did you find the mold in your house?
It's been a little bit now, but I've been trying to stay away from it.
No, but just tell me, it's in your house, correct?
Yes.
Is it in your house?
It was in a place that I was at. It was in a place that I was at. Put it that way. And then
Okay, but
I
not
kept
in your
getting
house,
exposed
correct?
to it, and I didn't realize that.
Okay, I'm gonna go really quick. So I really just want you to be as specific as you can. It was not in your house, but it was a place you used to go to, correct?
Yes, constantly.
Was it black mold?
Yes, and some other one too. Some other.
Okay, just listen to
I
me
can't remember the
really, really.
aspergillus or something too.
I know, just listen to me really carefully. I don't think that black mold is insidious. My friend just had it in her house. If it gets airborne and you breathe it in, it can have an impact. So what Mark was telling you was right. You know, there are things that you can do to take care of that. But please, whenever you go to see ear, nose, and throat people, please tell them about this. How long were you exposed to the mold?
Oh, like about a month.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Every day.
Okay, you were there and you were at this place for a month. And were you there more than a couple of hours a day?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so when you go to whoever you're going to, also, when I'm not a doctor and Mark's not a doctor, we're not those kind of doctors. We're both doctors, but we're not that kind.
We're not
We're not
medical
medical
doctors.
doctors.
Yeah.
Right.
But I will tell
Not
you
medical. I know.
from experience, go see, you know, if you were my best friend, like my best friend who I just told, I sent her a pulmonologist. I sent her to a lung doctor. Please tell these people you're exposed to this. And a lot of times when you go to these doctors, some of them don't believe in black mold. If your doctor says that, fire them and find one that does and get some treatment, okay? You're going to be okay, but there's an effect that it could have on you. And it's just check yourself out, okay? You know what I'm saying? Get yourself checked out.
You know what? I will. I really appreciate this. And when Mark was talking, I realized, like when he was saying upper, I started to think I've been having this painful feeling on my forehead. Like I couldn't even touch my forehead on one side, and I had cracked my head there. So I thought, oh, that's all it was. But I thought, why is it lasting so long? And then
Yeah, go
I just
get
hit my
yourself
head in
checked
that
out.
same spot again. So
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. So
Yeah,
I really, really, really
Please
appreciate
go
both
get it
of you.
checked out.
And
Look, listen, I only have a minute, so I'm going to say this real quick. You know, those of us that have been on the planet for a really long time, we have probably, and I'll speak for myself, battered my body badly. And so now when I get sick or my immune system gets weakened, it will go to the places on my body that I previously injured. You feel me? And so all we're trying to
Yes.
say is it's not going to hurt you to go take some care of yourself and go get yourself checked out, okay?
yeah, bless you for that. I really
Okay.
appreciate it, both of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And again,
I
we're
just
not
wanted really
doctors.
fast, Mark, I love coral.
Coral.
Oh, you love
She loves
coral.
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 That's
All right,
it.
perfect,
That's
perfect.
it.
Coral, and
That's it.
I used to collect turquoise and coral jewelry a long, long time ago. So
That's it.
It means a lot to me. So there's a connection to coral. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow. Thank you
Perfect.
so very much. And, you know, our hearts go out to you for your loss.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just so sorry.
Our hearts go
Yeah.
out to you.
Thank you. It's really hard. I don't have all my family's on the other side. I'm like, oh my God.
Well,
and
don't
all my
forget you have
dogs, I
us.
just lost my dog. So it's like there's nobody around anymore. I've never been alone before. It's very
Okay, you have
interesting. So-
us.
but I love
You have
you
us.
guys.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
what
a
a
great show.
great show. And you know, everybody,
What,
we're
we
gonna
have
be,
the best listeners.
we do.
OMG.
So I want to thank all the listeners. I especially want to thank the callers. And Dr. Pat and I are going to be back next week on October 5th for a special show entitled Let Your Genie Out of the Bottle. And we'll talk about what that means next week. So Dr. Pat, thank you so much for being the best hostess with the metaphysical mostest.
Well, I got to say this one thing. We have to give a big thanks to all of our callers. But Carly, I'm telling you, I cannot get the chocolate now out of my brain. It's just, I'm going to have to go get me some chocolate because all is good in the hood, right, Mark?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to hit up some chocolate too. So everybody, as long as you're not diabetic, have a piece of chocolate tonight, just tonight. Okay. All right. And we'll see all of you next week. Thank you so much. God bless. Namaste. Have a great night.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.